1.8 million people are internally displaced in northeast Nigeria by Boko Haram violence and counter-insurgency measures. Around 9 million people are food insecure. 2.1 million malnourished children under 5 are in need of assistance. Millions have escaped the militant group Boko Haram in northeast Nigeria. They face a new threat: starvation. Hundreds of thousands have fled to the capital of Borno State, Maiduguri. People here are dying of malnutrition despite the presence of aid groups. This clinic for children under 5 opened in August with the help of the EU. It sees around 100 children a day.
This child is 1 year, 3 months, and he's weighing 6 kg. This is a normal weight of a baby of 4 months.
Abu Bakar's condition is so serious that he'll be transferred to a proper hospital. Every day, the clinic sees around 7 severely malnourished children with similar complications. That's about 50 a week.
In 3 months, we've seen over 6,000 cases. And we've seen also children with severe malnutrition, over 1,000. So it's alarming. And the conditions that we see, the highest morbidity is respiratory infections, followed by acute watery diarrhea and malaria.
UNICEF warns that without further assistance, up to 75,000 children will die in famine-like conditions in northeast Nigeria over the next year.
Is the northeast Nigerian state of Borno facing a situation similar to the ones we had in Biafra or Somalia? The country's total percentage of people affected by this crisis is far lower than Biafra and Somalia, but the figures are alarming. In several states, we have malnutrition over the alert threshold. The thresholds for severely malnourished children is 2%, and today we're at 9% in these areas. For general malnutrition, the threshold is 10% of the population, and we're today at 37%.
The United Nations says an additional 2 million people are still in Boko Haram-controlled areas, thus inaccessible to aid. The militants still move freely throughout much of the countryside, and large areas of farmland has been abandoned. People in newly liberated villages were found in desperate conditions. Despite Maiduguri being among the safest and best served places in the state, there is at least 1 suicide attack a week. There were 3 in 24 hours when we were there. People live in makeshift camps, in bombed-out buildings, or, like Zara, in the host community.
I came 1 year ago from a village 70 kilometers away. Boko Haram tried to abduct my children, so we had to leave. Every household has lost someone.
Zara is among the mothers at the clinic. Her daughter Aisha is malnourished and she's monitored weekly.
It's 11.5. She has been in the program for 2 weeks. This is the 3rd week. And she came with 7.8 kg. She's 2 years old. And right now, the weight is 8.2, so we can see she's doing well.
Zara and the other mothers are given a food and a water kit. The World Health Organization says 361,000 deaths among children under 5 could be prevented every year with better water and hygiene. So the plan against malnutrition in Maiduguri includes installing toilets and new water points.
We have 9 water points to build. Tension is rising in the outskirts, so people are still arriving. But I think with these 9 water points, we can alleviate the needs of many.
The European Office for Humanitarian Aid was among the first donors to acknowledge the situation. It opened an office in 2013, bringing about €75 million into the region.
This is the fastest growing displacement crisis, and the volume of the needs still uncovered is huge. We're facing a food crisis that could turn into a catastrophe.
Nigeria has received around 50% of the $484 million required by the UN 2016 humanitarian plan. But needs are so high that the new appeal for funds has more than doubled.